This meeting of the Eau Claire City Council will come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Anderson. Berge.
Here.
Brewster.
Here.
Johnson. Imboga. Miller. Otto. Reed.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Serrano.
Here.
Worthman.
Here.
Great, thank you. I know there were a couple that were going to be, they're running late, so hopefully they're on their way. So welcome everyone to the Tuesday, February 10th meeting of the Eau Claire City Council. First up tonight is our consent agenda. So if you're here for the consent agenda, just know that we vote on this with one vote. So when the consent agenda passes, you're good to go. You don't need to stay unless you really want to. You are welcome to, of course. So with that, do council members have any questions about the consent agenda or wish to remove any? Councilmember Serrano?
Thank you, Council President Berge. I don't have a question, but I wanted to call something out just to bring
Sure.
attention to it. Item number 10, Wisconsin DNR Recreational Trails Program. This is a resolution authorizing City of Eau Claire Engineering Department to apply for Wisconsin DNR Recreational Trails Program grant monies for the purpose of rehabilitating the Old Wells Road Trail. And I'm just really happy about that and happy to see that on the agenda, and really very hopeful that we get some grant money for that. So it's on the west side of Eau Claire, and I thought constituents might be interested to know that that's in our consent agenda packet
Thank
today.
you. You always do such a good job of pulling those things out, so thank you, Councilmember Serrano.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments, or questions? Okay, then on a motion by Councilmember Serrano, second by Councilmember Brewster, this item, consent agenda is moved. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Berge.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Schoen.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman.
Aye.
Great, thanks. The consent agenda is approved unanimously. Going on, we don't have any proclamations tonight, so we're going to go straight to our business agenda. And first up is the Eau Claire Music Festival. So number 14, a resolution authorizing Eau Claire Events LLC to conduct the Eau Claire Music Festival on Friday, July 24th, 2026, and Saturday, July 25th, 2026 at Carson Park. Mr. Newkirk. Hi, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Council President Berge and council members. So the item before you today is consideration of a special event application for Eau Claire Events LLC to conduct the Eau Claire's Festival 2026. So I have a little bit of background about the event. Obviously, we'll open it up for questions of staff if you have any, and then the event organizers are here as well if you happen to have any questions of them. So, moving on to details about the event. Eau Claire Events LLC is the organizing entity represented by Jason John Anderson. The event is a 2-day music festival and art fair with food and beverage and alcohol service utilizing all 4 athletic fields within Carson Park as well as the main parking lot. The performance dates are July 24th and 25th of 2026, with park hours modified to accommodate event setup and cleanup, and then traffic outflow on the event dates. The overall event setup and cleanup window is July 18th through July 29th, so larger than just the 2 days of the event. There's obviously a lot of setup and teardown that goes into an event like this. The baseball stadium specifically and the football stadium as well as the main parking lot will be utilized for the event from July 21st through July 27th. So the overall event setup on areas of Carson Park outside of those locations encompasses the bigger date range, and then those specific locations are in use for the event during those dates. Vehicle traffic into Carson Park will be restricted to pass holders and event shuttles starting with the afternoon of Thursday, July 23rd through Sunday, July 26th, but all the while pedestrian traffic will still be allowed into the park. There is a secured fenced event site, and so this map here represents the overhead layout of the event site within the park. So there's a red dash line around the perimeter of the entire grounds, including the main parking lot and the athletic field locations. That's what we call the secured event site. So within that site, you'll have to have a ticket or a pass. Outside of that site, the park is still open to the public. And then within that Thursday afternoon through Sunday time period, the vehicle traffic onto the island of Carson Park would be restricted to pass holders. And that's to facilitate ease of traffic flow for ingress and egress for emergency services and to control the traffic flow. You can see two stages represented on the center field area of the baseball stadium, and then also the adjacent end zone area of the football field. And then the Galine and Hobbs softball fields will also be used for vendor booth spaces for food and beverage and other things. The football plaza area behind the football grandstand is where the event is planning on setting up all the comfort stations or bathroom spaces that will be used by the event. The main parking lot, they're planning on selling VIP parking in a portion of the lot, and then the remainder of the lot will be used for ADA parking, and then also what they're calling their box office, where people will walk up and provide their ticket to get into the event. The main grandstand of the baseball stadium is planned to be used for VIP seating for the baseball field, but the rest of the event is open in the event areas for people to move through like in a festival. Event access and security. The event site again will be secured using fencing, and then also on-site security personnel provided by the event, partnering with SHO Security Services. Only pass holders or ticketed attendees will be allowed access within the secured event site, and then again the rest of the park is open to the public throughout. The event organizers are coordinating with city staff and PD on an event-specific emergency response plan, including event policies, attendee policies and screening, security protocols, inclement weather, evacuations, and so on. PD will have staff on site in an on-site unified command center in partnership with the event security team. And then the fire department will also have on-site EMS services with a quick response UTV and then also an ambulance on site. Related to parking and traffic, again, for the afternoon of Thursday, July 23rd through Sunday, July 26th, only pass holding vehicles and shuttles will be allowed onto the island of the park. And again, pedestrian and bicycle traffic will be available throughout, and outside of the secure area, the park is still open to the public. The Menominee Street entrance has been earmarked as the event shuttle entrance, so near the YMCA Tennis Center, that entrance to the park would be for shuttles only. And then the Lake Street entrance on the opposite side would be the VIP parking entrance. The event is also planned on utilizing West Grand Ave as a geo-fenced rideshare service pickup and drop-off location. The plan is to mark that section as no parking. And then the event is also working with area organizations to provide shuttling services to off-site lots, again, to help minimize the amount of vehicle traffic going to the island itself. So here's a representation of what that traffic plan looks like, highlighting the two main entry and exit points. So the Menominee Street side on the bottom of the map there, the plan is to close the left turn lane onto Carson Park Drive from Menominee Street so that we don't have a line of shuttle vehicles wanting to turn left in there. And then that entrance would be shuttle only with message boards. I think we talked about the week of the event, there would be message boards throughout, so traffic on Menominee Street understands that for the event dates, that's shuttle only. And then on the opposite side by the causeway on Lake Street, that would be the VIP pass holder entrance for vehicles that are parking in the parking lot to attend the event. And then West Grand and Lake Street would be posted as no parking to have the most space possible for vehicles moving through that space. A little bit about the event amenities. They are responsible for providing all of the infrastructure and amenities related to the event outside of the physical structures that are there of ours that they are using. They will be self-sufficient, coordinate with the appropriate city and county licensing and inspection entities related to each of these entities. So they are bringing in generators to provide power for the staging and the sound systems. Obviously, staging that they will be bringing in and providing. The event will be providing its own drinking water as well as food preparation water, comfort stations or bathrooms, and then the cleaning of them as well as the general cleaning of the event grounds. They will be bringing in their own garbage and recycling receptacles and pickup as well. There will be tents coming in for the event that they will be responsible for, also, of course, needing to go through the inspections and permitting process. There was also significant discussion about playing surface protections for the athletic fields that I'll touch on in a little bit as well. The event will be providing that too. And then we also discussed sound monitoring and the plan to have measuring devices around the perimeter of the park that the production team is then able to use to make adjustments for the sound from the event as well, making sure that the sound is for the intended audience. A little bit about food and beverage. There will be a variety of local food and beverage options available to attendees that the event organizers are working on setting up. All of the vendors will follow all of the necessary licensing and inspection processes for transient food service. And then all of the food service areas on the playing surfaces of the athletic fields will have protection underneath them. There is also an alcohol component to the event. So there are some future agenda items after this, assuming approval, to deal with the alcohol licensing components. But the alcohol service will be provided by the Eau Claire Express as the license holder for the baseball stadium. They have applied for a temporary license expansion to incorporate the football stadium and event grounds for the dates of their event. And then they're also applying for, or have applied for, a reserve Class B liquor license for sale and service of liquor. Strict alcohol service protocols will of course be in place, including ID checks, 21 plus wristbands, 2-drink purchase limit, roaming security and alcohol service, focus on alcohol service. And then PD again will be on site in the event's unified command center to coordinate with the event security team as needed. A little bit about our city infrastructure protection. Again, the event is responsible for all work and costs associated with returning the grounds to their original condition after the event. We are going to have a pre-event walkthrough to establish existing conditions prior to setup work starting. And then the event will be responsible for returning the grounds to that condition after the event. The athletic field playing surfaces will be covered with special decking in the key staging, tenting, and traffic areas. And the entire baseball stadium playing surface will be covered, with the event also responsible for sod replacement in anticipated areas of heavy weight bearing with staging as part of their cleanup after the event within that date window. They're also responsible for a post-event maintenance visit for the artificial turf football field as part of the event as well, so that the field can be restored to its condition from prior to the event. So this is the planned surface protection map. So the two main staging areas that are highlighted in red on the baseball field and football stadium field are the heavy decking areas where the two main stages will be. And then there's the food service area out in the Galine softball field. And then the other symbol there, the star, is just noting and representing that the baseball field will be fully covered. So some community considerations that were looked into in relation to this event. The Eau Claire Express, as the leaseholder of the stadium, they worked with the Northwoods League to accommodate the 7-day window for use of the stadium for this event. Our own Parks and Rec programming that utilizes the athletic fields has been relocated to other locations that we can utilize to accommodate the event. And then the event organizers have also secured letters of support from the Express, the Chippewa Valley Museum, and also the Chippewa Valley Railroad, who are our neighbors within Carson Park. So with that, I would like to open it up to any questions.
Councilmember Schoen?
Thank you, Council President Berge, and thank you, Mr. Newkirk, for this overview. I have gotten a couple of questions from constituents with concerns about safety, or at least maybe concerns isn't the right way to phrase it, but definitely people who are curious and are looking for more information. And I also think about how just in recent years we've made decisions to not host large events at the same venue. But I guess the question is, right, the thing that might be different about this particular event is it is secure. I know you talked a little bit about the event-specific emergency response planning. And so I'm wondering if you could just help elaborate on that a little bit to help me give good information back to constituents who are curious.
Sure, exactly. And I think that's probably the main difference between past large-scale events is the traffic plan and the access plan. So in relation to vehicle traffic, which can tend to create congestion within Carson Park, that was I think the deciding factor on going with controlled access and pass-holding vehicles only to limit the number of vehicles within the overall park. And then that will allow for the most open traffic lanes in and out for emergency response, which has been a concern with past events in the park.
Great. Councilmember Serrano?
Thank you, Council President Berge. I'm just curious, what do we think the estimated attendee?
Sure. I neglected to mention that.
That's okay.
I believe on the application, and we talked about this, I think they're anticipating roughly 12,000 people a day times 2 days, but that's not necessarily all at the same time. This is over the course of like 10, 11 hours each day. I think it would be fair to assume that towards the end of each day, with headliners on each day, there would be more people.
Thank you.
Great. Vice President Worthman?
Thank you, Council President. Thanks for going over this detailed new event plan. I had a similar concern and question as Councilmember Schoen around the fact that we decided not to do major events like the fireworks at this exact spot because of different security concerns, and just how the community, which really wanted to see that happen, might respond and think about that. So thank you for kind of saying how this is being done differently in order to make way for this to happen.
Yep.
I think my question is around some of the impacts of noise that are going to be.
Like that noise? Good.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Patrick. Yeah, thank you.
As evidenced.
One of the concerns that I want to get some clarity on is how late the music is going to be playing. Maybe you covered that and I missed it. But then, just you had mentioned noise or sound monitors around the event. And I think it's important because there are families and residents that are living in this area close by across the lake. And so, can you kind of talk about what can they expect? What can people who live nearby expect in terms of how late into the night this music will be playing, and what levels of noise are going to be generated?
Sure. So I believe, and I will defer to Jason on the noise specifics because that is a language that he is the expert in. But I believe we're talking about, is it 11 p.m. ending time for noise? Okay, so a little bit different park hours to allow people out after that. And then as far as more details about noise abatement, if it's appropriate, I think I would ask Jason to come up and explain that in detail.
Sure.
Good afternoon, council members. Great to see you. Councilmember Worthman, that was a great question, right? How are we monitoring the sound? And we have a lot of, this entire production team's coming from Boston, where we've produced on Harvard's campus next to the city of Cambridge, separated by a body of water, really similar to what we're going to experience with Half Moon Lake. And we're putting active monitors right on the perimeter of the park so that we can see in real time what is generating that noise. But as city attorney can speak to, we're still mandated to stay within, at the residential level, within what your noise limits require. So we're going to be within that 60 to 70 decibel rating that we're required to be within the residential community. And that's why we're putting monitors at the edge of the park, is so that we can ensure that we're there. And what we actually found in Boston is just sort of garbage trucks going down the street were making more noise than what the festival itself was. And that's what these monitors do. They'll give you real access. Your PD is going to have access to those up-head monitors as well and be able to see what the output is.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Mboga?
Yeah, thank you, Council President. My question is, how long this festival has been in existence?
In existence, I believe, is it 2018, 16?
Since we've been 2018.
2018, it has been in existence on the
I'm sorry.
It started-
Since 2014.
2014. Thank you. And then the last time the festival occurred, it actually happened outside of the city limits.
So that's my next question. Can I ask? So I'm just curious, for me, for my understanding and the people listening and the people here, what was the reason behind of you guys moving from the previous private spot to Carlson?
Sure. So I guess I can't speak to the organizers' desires, so I would defer to Jason. But when the ask came to us, the location with the space and the amenities, the ability to control traffic and all of those things, it was Carson Park. But as far as why the event wanted to move, I guess I would defer to Jason. Would you?
Councilmember, that's a great question. As we know that we have two really brilliant artists who are part of our artist curation, and one of them calling Eau Claire home. And honestly, last January, he walked through Carson Park and said, "This is it. It's time to come back, and I'd love it to be here." Someone figure out how to do that, and that led us to start conversations with your city staff who've been helping us since January of last year. Create a plan where Carson Park could be the home of this and return it to a new sort of financial generating opportunity that it hasn't seen for a while.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, I have a question as well, Mr. Newkirk. We got an email from Brooke Berg from Mayo, and a lot of the questions, her questions were already answered, so thank you for that, and as Councilmember Schoen said too. But I think if I'm reading through the lines, it sounds like Mayo would like to be a part of the ongoing discussions just about emergency preparedness and like how their hospital can be a part of it if there is. Hopefully everyone is safe, but having them be a part of that in case there is a catastrophic event won't happen. But yeah, so I don't know if they could be. Just sounds like they would like to be part of the discussion. So if someone could loop them in.
Yeah,
Okay.
we certainly can, and I think this is similar to any other larger event that we have. You know, there's awareness of the healthcare providers in the community about events going on. As it relates to the event itself, you know, we can refer them to organizations to potentially work with for things within their event. But we, of course, will certainly make sure our emergency services personnel coordinate about potential.
Great. Yeah, and I think then it access to the hospital too, making sure. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Councilmember Brewster.
Thank you, Council President. I was just wondering, so this will be, I'm planning on going to this, and this will be like all of them that I've been to. I was just wondering, there were a couple years where the lines for food were quite long, and especially people with, you know, blood sugar issues and whatever in the heat were having some trouble. Is that something that's been considered just to make sure that there's enough, you know, concessions and all
Sure.
that stuff available for people?
Sure, and I guess, again, I can defer to Jason on that if you'd like to speak to that.
Good afternoon. The food is still under planning, but predominantly those two softball fields using Galine and the Hobbs softball field will ensure that we have plenty more vendors than what you witnessed the last time through unified storefronts and really engaging with local community members that have food trucks with them using a storefront instead of their food truck and or other purveyors to ensure that we have food and water. And we have dedicated water buggies on site because the infrastructure here is far easier to deploy than what we experienced at the old location.
Thank you.
You bet.
Councilmember Serrano.
Thank you, Council President Berkey. I may have missed it, but I'm curious. Well, first of all, I don't want this to sound like this would be the reason we would want to have this event. I love the fact that we'd have this wonderful event right in the heart of Eau Claire. Just, you know, what it brings to our whole ambiance and culture and attractiveness of Eau Claire. So I think it's a wonderful event. But my question has to do with sort of the financial investment. You know, the city's going to be investing somewhat substantially in security and police and, you know, the Parks Department. and maybe this is the next agenda item about the MOU, but I don't really see any, I'm just wondering, do we have an idea of the anticipated cost or benefit from a financial point of view to the city?
Yeah, and I guess I can answer a couple questions there. So yes, the MOU agenda item further down in the agenda, that MOU details responsibilities, fees, and all of those things. The event is responsible for all of their costs, all of their work. The PD services, the EMS services, our parks staff services are all accounted for in the fees that have been quoted for the event and that they will be expected to pay. You know, the restoration of the playing services, all of that is accounted for in what we will be asking the event to pay or what the event is expected to pay. As far as, you know, the economic impact to the community and the benefit, like, you know, bringing in a large number of people like that for an event in the city, there will be people around for a few days that are coming from out of town. All over the place, people will be coming from. That will attract attention to Eau Claire. It'll attract attention to Carson Park. People will obviously be looking for other things to do in the community while they're here, and that will benefit local businesses as well. So beyond our own, you know, what do they have to pay the city to have the event happen on city property, there are other benefits to the community as well.
Thank you.
Councilmember Schoen?
Yeah, thank you, Council President Berge. My question, I'll preface similarly to other council members. I don't want this to be perceived as like lack of excitement for this opportunity. It's great. But one question I did have, which is similar to a point raised by Councilmember Brewster, is just the well-being of attendees at this festival. I know that surface protection is important, just given the regular use outside of this event by different athletic organizations. And in the packet and application materials, there was reference to 2 different types of surface protection, both of which look to be like black interlocking tiles. And I'm wondering, I'm just thinking about, like, I've gone to games at Carson in the summertime. There's no shade on the field. It's very hot. And I'm thinking about just like the potential for, I don't know, heat-related challenges for attendees. I don't know if you're able to speak to any, I know Jason mentioned the water carts, but are there any other precautions being taken or anything you could share with us about
Sure.
that type of thing?
As it relates to the playing surfaces, the decking will actually be installed in the shortest timeline necessary for it to be there in protection of the playing surfaces. You know, the 7-day baseball stadium window is the overall setup, but the covering of the whole field is really only going to start like a day before the event. And with the amount of hands that will be involved, it goes in pretty quickly, comes out pretty quickly. As far as comfort for attendees at the event, all kinds of water all over the place will be provided by the event, as we discussed. There are also plenty of different areas for shade. I can't speak to this, but I suppose it's possible that there could be a method for people to leave the site but be within the park in shade and then come back in, but that would be something of the event. Not sure. But Jason, if you'd like to come up, you can.
Councilmember Schoen, I think your question, at least as I heard it, maybe was more to the level, what's the color of the flooring? And the predominant pedestrian flooring is actually white, not in black, so it's going to be reflective. It's flooring that's used in all the major baseball leagues that are hosting concerts, so it's not a new invention, and we haven't found that it over dehydrates attendees. But again, we're going to have free water on site, so I don't have a concern about hydration or sunburn, and there's going to be resting tents outside underneath the big old trees, so I think that accommodates it. But
Yes, thank you for that
you're so
clarification.
welcome.
I don't see any other questions, so thank you, Mr. Newkirk and
Thank you.
Jason. All right. So then on a motion made by Councilmember Mboga, second by Vice President Worthman, this item is moved. Any discussion by council? Councilmember Mboga?
Thank you, Council President. I really believe that the music, when we listen to music, we change our mood, bring happiness, and the music uplift us when we are down. And if you look at this organization, they're gonna bring a lot of money to the economy of Eau Claire, hotels will be booked, restaurant will be, people will go out to eat. So I'm just saying I'm here, want to be supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Right. Well, I'll just say it is exciting to have Eau Claire Fest back. In fact, I remember probably Vice President Worthman, the last time this was before was right before the pandemic hit. And we were debating whether that would be, and then we're like, no, let's wait. And then sure enough, everything shut down. So it's nice to see it back post-pandemic. And yeah, I also have been to all of them, and I look forward to hopefully attending this one if I'm not too busy. But yeah, thanks for bringing it for us again. So, all right, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Mboga,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Schoen,
Aye.
Serrano,
Aye.
Worthman.
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Berge,
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
All right, that passes unanimously. So, cheers. All right, except we have one more about Eau Claire Fest. So, resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a memorandum of understanding regarding use of city facilities and resources for the Eau Claire Music Festival. And Deputy City Attorney Stromberger.
Thank you. And good afternoon. You've gotten a preview of this item already. I don't need to go into a lot of detail on it for you. I'm happy to answer questions, of course, but it just is making sure that both parties are clear on the responsibilities for the event, outlining cost recovery on the part of the city, explaining expectations for alcohol service on behalf of the event, but otherwise it's a summary basically in contract form of the event, and I think Mr. Newkirk did a good job of that for you. So happy to answer questions if there are any.
Councilmember Serrano.
Thank you, Council President Berge. Attorney Stromberger, must be just missing this in the packet. I'm trying to do the find. I don't see Exhibit C with the fee schedule as part of our packet. Is that can somebody point me to it if we have it?
Valid question. It might not be attached as part of the packet. The fee and licenses schedule is likely what I'm imagining it's referencing, and that would be, the city's fee and licenses schedule that's published annually.
So the standard fee for renting out.
Correct.
Carson
Yes,
Park.
there were no adjustments made to the daily rate for the pavilion use, things like that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yep.
I don't see any other questions. Thank you. And a motion by Councilmember Miller, second by Councilmember Schoen. This item is moved. Any discussion? Seeing none, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Schoen,
Aye.
Serrano,
Aye.
Worthman. Anderson,
Aye.
Berge,
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Mboga.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. So now we're on to licenses. So this is a resolution granting a reserve combination Class B intoxicating liquor and fermented malt beverage license and Class A Cabaret license to Toyson Baseball Club, LLC. So the Eau Claire Express. And let's see, Assistant City Attorney Herbison.
Correct. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you, President Berge. Good afternoon, council members. Yeah, so I'm here to speak to agenda items both 16 and 17. So first is the resolution granting a reserve combination Class B license to the Eau Claire Express. And then agenda item number 17 is going to be granting a temporary expansion of that license to the Eau Claire Express for the purpose of the Eau Claire Festival later this summer. So just to address the reserve combination Class B item first, so this sort of licensing item, it might appear on your consent agenda typically, but because this is a reserve license and we're subject to a quota on these licenses, I want to make sure to present it to you as a business agenda item to let you know that we have 19 reserve licenses outstanding currently, so we have plenty of them available at this time. But as far as the underlying license goes, it's more or less the same as what the Eau Claire Express have been doing
but this would allow them to serve spirits in addition to beer and wine. And then we have also asked, as kind of a natural opportunity to connect, we've asked that the Eau Claire Express enter into an alcohol use agreement that just lays out in clear terms, kind of general expectations of what we would have for large events like this, to protect the community from potential underage consumption concerns, binge drinking concerns, and other public health perspectives. So that is signed and attached as part of the packet here. And I should highlight, as far as this item number 16 goes, this reserve combination Class B license, this would be for their general operations. This is not just the Eau Claire specifically, but this would be for their ball games throughout the summers and as the license premise, generally speaking. Then moving to agenda item 17, the temporary expansion. If you were to grant the reserve combination Class B, then agenda item 17 is specifically to accommodate the Eau Claire's festival and to ensure that there's alcohol service throughout the event.
Okay, got it. Any questions? So this is still related to the Eau Claire Fest. So if this 16 did not pass, then Eau Claire Fest could only serve beer and wine.
That would be correct, yes.
Okay. And then the expansion, is this a temporary expansion to cover the dates of the festival?
Correct.
Okay.
So if 16 were not to pass, 17 should not pass either. It's necessarily an expansion of the reserve combination Class B. If for some reason you were to determine not to pass number 16, then we could potentially bring another temporary expansion for the beer and wine.
Beer and wine. Okay, thanks. I don't see any other questions, so thank you. And a motion by Councilmember Reed, second by Councilmember Otto. This item is moved. Any discussion? Not seeing any. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Otto.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Schoen.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Bergen.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Invoga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Okay, or item number 17, any questions on that from council? Otherwise, we'll go right to, okay. Then by motion made by, let's see, where are we at? Councilmember Otto, second by Councilmember Anderson. This item is moved. Any discussion? See none, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Reed.
Aye.
Schoen.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman. Aye. Anderson.
Aye.
Bergen.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Invoga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Otto.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. All right. Okay, now we have budget adjustments. So this is a resolution authorizing adjustments for the 2025 and 2026 operating and capital budgets. Mr. Corbel.
Hello, good evening, City Council members. My item on the agenda this evening is our standard process of bringing periodic budget adjustments before you for your approval. We have adjustments for both the operating and capital budgets for both 25 and 2026. And as with all budget adjustments, it requires 2/3 approval of the legislative body, so that would be 8 affirmative votes. So I will attempt to briefly summarize these adjustments for you so we have them on record, but please let me know if there's any questions. To start with, it's going to be the 2025 operating budget adjustments. Item number 1, the Health Department has a budget adjustment for $150,400, and this is in various grants and donations received. Item number 2, the Public Library has a budget adjustment for $10,892 in various gifts and grants received. And item number 3, the Fire Department received $311,980 for the EMS Funding Assistance Program from the State of Wisconsin Department of Health Services. The remainder of our 25 operating budget adjustments are related to the Police Department. Items 4 through 6 are money received, $34,594 from the Chippewa Valley Air Show for reimbursement for police services provided during the air show. Items 7 through 9, we received $1,500 for the Crisis Intervention Training Mentorship Funds from the National Alliance on Mental Illness of Wisconsin. Item number 10, we received $119 in reimbursement for police services for the Carson 5 and 10K race. Item number 11, we received $276 for the 2025 Community Crisis Fund from the Eau Claire Community Foundation. Item number 12, we received $149 from the United States Treasury, and that's for reimbursement costs for a visit from Senator Tammy Baldwin. And item number 13, we received $116,723 in donation funds for the Public Safety Video System Project from PESI, Inc. The sum total of these adjustments will increase the police department's 2025 budget by $153,362.71. The next major category is going to be 2025 capital budget adjustments. The first two items are related to the water utility. Item number 14, this item was due to an emergency replacement for high lift pump number 2, which is located at our water treatment plant. This transfer has already occurred as it warranted an emergency repair, so this just acts as an update to our city council. And in order to accomplish this project repair, this $236,853 was transferred from the 23, 24, and 2025 well reconditioning project balances. Item number 15, this amendment shifts $275,000 in older funds from 2023 to a newer 25 capital account. And the reason for this is to give us flexibility to tackle additional water lateral replacements and ensure that our distribution system stays in compliance with DNR regulations. The next item is related to our storm utility. Item 16, this request is to transfer $27,731 in funds, and this request is to close out the 2022 capital account, and it's related to a storm utility construction project that had come in over budget. Item number 17 is in relation to our central equipment fund. This request is to transfer $60,729 into their 2025 vehicle replacements account. This money will be used to replace vehicle number 28, which was totaled in an accident back in fall of 2025. And to accomplish this, remaining balances will be transferred from existing capital projects, the 25 biosolids haul truck, the 24 vehicle replacements project, and the 24 additional police department vehicles project. Item number 18 is in relation to our land, buildings, and equipment fund. The police department had received a donation in the amount of $20,000 from the St. Paul and Minnesota Foundation for the purpose of expanding the K-9 program at the police department. And then Parks and Recreation. So we have item number 19. This request is to transfer $6,800 in remaining balance from the completed water slide fiberglass repair project and to reappropriate those funds to replace a failed variable frequency drive circulation pump at Fairfax Pool. Item number 20 is requesting a transfer of $106,863 of funds and to transfer those to the 2025 Carson Park Historic Grandstand Project. And this request is to enable as much funding as possible to complete the needed grandstand improvements from projects that are either completed or not progressing. And this would be funded by a transfer of $58,663 from the 23 Carson Park Restroom Project, and then $48,200 from the 2025 Half Moon Alum Treatment Project. Item number 21, we had incurred some bond costs that had put our 23 Princeton Valley Park project over budget, so we are requesting a transfer of $11,012 from the 23 Carson Park Restroom Project, and then both of those projects will officially be closed. And the next category is our 25 to 26 operating budget carryovers. So we have 3 total carryover requests. The first one is from the library. They have requested a carryover of $120,055 in funds from their gift, grant, and capital campaign balances. Item number 23, the police department has requested to carry over $116,723 in funds from PESI Inc. for the Public Safety Video System Project. And item 24, the Financial Operations Department has requested to carry over $12,000 in funds, and that's to complete implementation of software for business licensing, and they're going to complete that this year. And these general fund carryovers will come out of the implementation reserves, so they will have a neutral impact and they will not increase the 2026 budget. Item number 25, or the next couple items are 26 operating budget adjustments. Item number 25, the police department received a public safety answering point grant for $94,261 from the Wisconsin Office of Emergency Communications. This adjustment will increase the 26 general fund budget by that same amount. And item number 26, this request is to transfer $38,500 from our contingency balance to the city manager's budget for funding for a consultant to partner with the city and to submit up to 6 distinct innovation grant applications to the state of Wisconsin. And then for 26 capital budget adjustments, these are the last two items. Item number 27, this adjustment reduces the overall budget and scope of the 26 capital project, which is titled 434-008 Communications Center Equipment, and it will reduce that project from $55,000 to $15,000 as the amount of the project was lower than originally anticipated. And item number 28, this adjustment moves $75,000 from our Fund 402 for water to Fund 434, which is our land, building, and equipments fund, as the portion of this capital project that is funded by debt has been financed within Fund 434. This is more of an accounting change, and it's no change in the overall size or scope of that capital project at all. And that is all of them that I have this evening, so if you have any questions, please let me know.
You did a very good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any questions? Oh, yeah, our Vice President Worthman.
Thank you, Council President. I was just looking over this adjustment, let me just pull it up here, on Half Moon Lake treatment.
Mm-hmm.
I think it referenced an alum, moving money away from the alum component of that. Let me just find out where that was again.
I believe it's item number 20 that you would be referring to.
Yes. Sorry, I got lost in my packet here. Can you describe, or can someone talk about what that's about? Because if I remember, I know we did an amendment on endothal treatments, but alum was something that we were told was important to keep doing. And so I just wanted to get a little more clarity on, are we skipping that treatment for a year? Is that what the proposal is, or?
Mr. Newkirk is coming up, Michael, if you don't,
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Coe, unless you do have
I was
the
gonna say
answer.
Patrick probably would know
Yeah,
more than
okay,
me
yeah.
directly.
I can help. So the lake did not get treated with alum, so we did not need those funds, and that is why we're requesting the transfer.
So alum wasn't part of the amendment that we made last year, but your department decided it didn't need the alum treatment, even though there was still funding to do it last year?
Correct. That is correct. So
Interesting.
endothal treatment was the amendment.
Yeah.
This is a different fund, different type of treatment for a different purpose. Was determined not to be needed for this year, so that's why the money did not get spent.
And will it be in the budget this year for?
I think what we're looking at doing is looking at more of a Half Moon Lake management approach as opposed to specific treatment of things. So we're gonna be looking at all aspects of maintaining the water quality of the lake.
Interesting, thank you.
That's great. Good question. Okay, I don't see any other questions, so thank you. So then by a motion made by Councilmember Anderson, second by Councilmember Serrano, this item is moved. Any discussion? City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Schoen,
Aye.
Serrano,
Aye.
Worthman,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Berge,
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Imboga,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
All right, that passes unanimously. Oh, gosh. Next, we have an easement, a resolution authorizing release of utility easements located at parcels 14-0833D and 14-0838. Mr. Lee. Hi, welcome.
Good afternoon, City Council President, City Council members. Quick shout out to Budget Analyst Corbel. He absolutely killed that, so I really got to up my game
Yeah.
for you guys.
I know, he did a very good job.
So before you, there's two resolutions before you tonight. One resolution that's related to the release of utility easements, and then one item 20, which is related to a permanent utility easement. Now, just kind of zoom out, this area in question is the kind of the 90-degree turn on Old Wells Road, which goes through private land. The road itself used to be platted to go straight to the Chipper River. That has been since vacated, and we retained the easement rights to that area. So the release is in regards to two parcels where the street vacation was located, where we retained the rights, which is the two parcels that are referred to. We also had another easement directly over the center line of both parcels, and that was a 20-foot easement down the center. However, a local surveyor was out there surveying the property, and we found that the stormwater drain was 10 feet to the right of the center line, so east into one of the property owners' land a little bit further than what we thought. So what we're doing tonight is we're releasing our claims on the utility easements within the vacated right-of-way of Old Wells Road. We're releasing the unneeded easement, and then item 20 will place a new easement where the stormwater line actually exists. With that, I'll take any questions.
All right, any questions? Councilmember Brewster?
Thank you, Council President. How does that happen?
It actually happens all the time. So a lot of these items, once land is surveyed and we look at plats, a lot is found out, oh, so when this area was being developed, you know, something was planned to be there, wasn't installed in that location, was installed somewhere else, and we kind of need to scramble and work with a developer or landowner to get that corrected and amended. All the ones that I've worked on that are related to this go really smoothly, actually. You know, we're happy to go in and get things corrected, and the landowners are happy to get things corrected as well.
Thanks.
Great. Councilmember Anderson, did you have a question?
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot.
No, that's okay, thanks. All right, I don't see any other questions, so thank you. So, by motion made by Councilmember Brewster, second by Councilmember Mboga, this item is moved. Any discussion? Okay, don't see any. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman.
He exited.
Anderson.
Aye.
Bergen.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Otto.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Schoen.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. So item number 20, were there any other questions for 20? Mr. Lee, though, is still here.
Nothing additional. This is just placing the easement over the actual storm line through the private property.
Thank you.
And the easement is signed by the landowner.
Wonderful. Thank you. I don't see any other questions, so thanks. So by a motion made by Councilmember Miller, second by Councilmember Schoen, this item is moved. Any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Anderson.
Aye.
Bergen.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Otto.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Schoen.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. All right, on to item 21, street and utility improvements. So this is a final resolution approving the project and levying special assessments for street and utility improvements on the following streets: Arthur Street, Boardwalk Street to Justin Lane, Cameron Street, Bellinger Street to Mappa Street, Forest Street, 125 feet south of Sarah Street to 1,000 feet north of Sarah Street, Gray Street, South Farwell Street to Dottie Street, Maple Street, 3rd Street to 1st Street, Mappa Street, Madison Street to Cameron Street, Sarah Street, Forest Street to Hobart Street, and South Dewey Street, Lake Street to Main Street. And we have Director Ness.
Good afternoon, Council. I had 3 items that I wanted to follow up related to the project's presentation yesterday and questions that had came in. One was related to Sarah Street with the 3 to 4 trees that were located on the west end of that project. In looking at those trees, those root systems would have some impact with the street reconstruction. So we will work with our city forester and with the property owners related to if those trees are able to remain or the replacement of those trees. If the trees are removed, we do look at replacement trees of the appropriate nature for the boulevards in those areas. The second item was related to Gray Street and Dewey Street and the addition of street trees with those projects. Looking at boulevards within those projects will impact the travel lane width and the parking availability with those projects, but it is something that we can look at. It's not something that we looked at initially for the replacement of the streets. We are proposing to replace those streets in kind to what they are, but it is something that we can look at. And then the third item is related to Mappa Street. I did look at that street. I had some very preliminary discussions with staff about the potential closure of the street, but it is something that if that's something you would like us to do, looking back at, there are some comparable streets within the city, and it is something that we could possibly delay, similar to what we did with Birch Street last year, and bring it back for consideration at a later date with additional information. So if you would want us to dig into that further, work with the property owners along that project, we could do that as well.
Okay, great. Anything else, directors? Okay, any questions for? All right, not seeing any, so thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I guess there's a question for you, Director Ness.
On the Gray Street, and, what's the cross street, Dewey?
Mm-hmm.
Would we need to make an amendment on that if we were interested in seeing an attempt to do street trees, or is that something you'll just try to do?
That's something that we can do if we have to make significant changes to include them or exclude them. If it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
If we have to make significant changes to the project, then we would need to bring that back to council. But otherwise, if we can maintain the intent of the project and the assessment similar to what we've noticed, then we could move forward with it as is.
Councilmember Miller?
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Director Ness. I had a question on Mappa Street. So there are houses that front face on Mappa Street with front porches and sidewalks. And what would a street closure of that look like? What would it do to people who live in those homes that do? I know there is access from the back via an alley, but then are the ends capped off, or what happens to the pavement? Just kind of explain what happens if a street like that were to be closed.
Okay, so in talking with our staff, we did look around the city to see other areas where this has a very similar situation. So if you go south of Madison Street, I believe it's First that we not vacated the right-of-way, but removed the street in front of the homes and replaced with a trail within the right-of-way. I think delivery services would be impacted if their garbage service is off of the alley. That's probably something we would need to look into. As you mentioned, driveway access to the homes are all on the back side off of the alley. We'd have to look at the access along the street existing right now, and talk with the residents probably too, how that works. So that would be something that we would reach out to the property owners and get their input, how it would impact them to understand the benefits and maybe the impacts that changing this project would have on them.
Okay, thank you for the going through that. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Any other questions? Yeah, Councilmember Otto.
Oh, thank you, President Berge. Another Mappa Street question. So as I understand, the Quick Trip has access to Mappa Street, right?
The edge of their property is along the right-of-way line, the eastern right-of-way line, and they do have a driveway access to Mappa Street.
Okay, thank you.
I don't see any other questions, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So by a motion made by Vice President Worthman, second by Councilmember Miller, this item is moved. Any discussion? Councilmember Miller?
Thank you, Council President. Given the discussion and the preliminary talks and residents' interest, I would propose an amendment to remove Mappa Street from this consideration. That way they can further consider the possibility of a street closure there. You know, if it's decided best not to, you know, it can always be brought forward again, but since it's kind of an active discussion, I would move to remove Mappa Street from this consideration.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion and a second. You want to speak any more to your motion amendment?
No, that actually I kind of said there that, you know, just we have people who live on the street and just look at how narrow that street is, and, you know, you can only increase by a foot, and it's such bad state currently, and you know, and since the city staff is entertaining the preliminary steps to consider it, I just want to give them more time to do their due diligence and have time to fully examine it. You know, I'll probably defer to their expertise when they come back with a decision, but for now I just want to pull it and let them look at that further.
Okay. Councilmember Brewster, do you have anything to say to your second? Okay. Vice President Worthman.
I think I'm going to support this postponement just to give a little more time. And I have actually been a part of a number of different unique street decisions in the past on this council. One of them is actually up in my neighborhood, which is we actually ended up closing off, oh no, how am I gonna forget the name of this street now? Up in the East Hill, there's actually a couple in the East Hill where we essentially like didn't vacate, but we closed off access for through traffic. So it's one of the things that we've done. There's the Wooners project that's over in the 3rd Ward, where it became a pedestrian and vehicle-friendly road. You were on council during that, I think.
No.
Well,
but I like it.
It's kind of takes a different approach on what a street can be, slows traffic. This is a very unique project where the street is half of the width of what it normally would be, and it just seems like even if it's not a closure, we should be thinking about what is a way that can make this something that benefits the neighbors. Maybe it's a trail that still offers emergency access. Maybe it's just green space, etc. So I think there's a lot of options that are not just closure or redoing the road, but what could this be? And having the neighbors' input, I think, is going to be important. So I'll support it.
Okay. Councilmember Otto?
Thank you, Council President. So I'm nervous about the prospect of cutting off access to that Quick Trip in a high congestion area. So I'd hope any study would take that into consideration. But that is an area that definitely could use study. There's been recent interest in further development along that, you know, I don't remember what street it is, Oxford and Madison intersection. So I do support this with the hope that any decision would keep the traffic flow moving, but I trust our city administration to do that.
Okay. Any other, City Attorney Nick?
If I could offer some parliamentarian
I was going to ask, so I
assistance.
appreciate that. You read my mind.
So any member can ask for what's called division to separate a multi-pronged question. So if I could suggest it, I think maybe the chair would accept Councilmember Miller's request initially for division to take up the Mappa Street project separately from the rest, which we're now discussing. And then it seems like he also perhaps intended, and Councilmember Brewster maybe intended to second a motion to postpone. But if that's true, we need that clarified, that that's then the intent and for what period of time.
Thank you. So there's a request, Councilmember Miller?
On the advice of the city attorney, I would change my motion to separate Mappa Street from the rest. As far as for a time for postponement, I would ask perhaps Director Ness to let us know what she thinks would be an appropriate amount of time before bringing this back to council.
I believe 1 month would be a sufficient time frame for us to look into it further.
Thank you.
So I think we need to divide the question first, and then we will, okay. And so we need to vote on that, or can I just make a ruling? Okay, so we will divide the question and pull out Mappa Street, Madison Street to Cameron Street. So we'll consider that separately. And now we are considering, well, I guess we can just vote on that. So we'll vote on the Mappa Street. So I need a motion to postpone the Mappa Street, which we have in a second. Councilmember Miller?
I move to postpone this item until the council meeting of March 10th with a public hearing on March 9th.
Okay.
Second that.
Okay, motion and second. Like to speak any more to that?
No, thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Brewster? Okay. All right, so I have a motion and a second to postpone for 1 month. Any discussion? Okay. And City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Berge.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Kimboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Otto.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Schoen.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman. Aye. Anderson.
Aye. And that postponement passes unanimously. Okay, now we'll take up the other items. So any other discussion on that? Councilmember Miller.
Thank you, Council President. I just, Director Ness said that for the Gray Street project, putting in trees perhaps was possible, could cause difficulties. The parking I'm not so concerned about. I think she just said there were some other features at that area that might cause concerns. I do encourage highly to look at the possibly putting trees there. I know on the council, council members Worthman and Schoen recently in the past have brought funds to the city to help give areas that are lacking trees more trees, and oodles of studies showing how trees benefit urban areas in all sorts of ways. I won't enumerate them here, so I just would put behind the a second to the effort that to really try to look at any trees at all on Gray Street. That'd be great, but I know engineering and working within the physical limits as well.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Brewster.
Aye.
Kimboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Otto.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Schoen.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman. Aye. Anderson.
Aye.
Berge.
Aye. And that passes unanimously. Next, we have our ordering sidewalk repair. This is a resolution ordering sidewalk to be repaired in accordance with Wisconsin Statute 66.0907 on the following streets: Arthur Street, Boardwalk Street to Justin Lane, Cameron Street, Bellinger Street to Mappa Street, Forest Street, 125 feet south of Sarah Street to 1,000 feet north of Sarah Street, Gray Street, South Faribault Street to Dottie Street, Maple Street, 3rd Street to 1st Street, Mappa Street, Masson Street to Cameron Street, Sarah Street, Forest Street to Hobart Street, South Dewey Street, Lake Street to Main Street. Director Ness, if there's anything else you want to add?
So this resolution is related to the existing sidewalk on all of the 8 projects that we reviewed last night. I think the only thing with this we'd want to remove MAPPA from consideration as well and take that forward at the within a month timeframe with similar with the last item.
Okay, thank you. I don't see other questions, so thanks. So then, by motion, do I have to move it before we divide it? Okay, so a motion made by Councilmember Reed and seconded by Councilmember Otto. This item is moved. Councilmember Miller?
I move to separate, for separate consideration, Mappa Street from the list.
Okay, a motion.
Second that.
A second. Okay, Councilmember
Or I believe I
Brewster?
just call for a division. I don't think it needs a second. If I'm looking
Right.
at the city attorney, he's looking at me.
Okay, we got this, yes. And then we don't need a vote. I'll just say this is what we're gonna do. And so it's divided, but now we need, and you already made a motion, okay,
I
Councilmember
will make a
Miller.
motion to postpone Mappa Street to the public comment on March 9th and city council on March 10th.
Okay,
Second.
in a second. So a motion by Councilmember Miller, a second by Councilmember Brewster to postpone Mappa Street. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Mboga,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Schoen,
Aye.
Serrano,
Aye.
Worthman, Anderson,
Aye.
Berge,
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
And that postponement passes unanimously. Now we'll take up the other items. Any discussion on that? Okay. Then City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Schoen,
Aye.
Serrano,
Aye.
Worthman, Anderson,
Aye.
Berge,
Aye.
Brewster,
Aye.
Mboga.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. All right. Next up, collective bargaining agreement. This is a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a collective bargaining agreement between the city of Eau Claire and Amalgamated Transit Union Local 1310. I don't know if did I get it closer that time? Okay, thanks, guys.
I'm just going to avoid saying it.
Yes. Smart.
All right, so we have 3 items with regard to the transit contract on today's agenda. The first is a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a 3-year contract with Transit Local 1310 according to the terms of the tentative agreement, which has been approved by the union members and as discussed at last night's closed session. It addresses items such as wage increases, training pay, tool allowance, uniform allowance, a reclassification of a mechanic, and changing vacation to an accrual schedule that is in line with other non-represented employees. The other 2 items later on the agenda are a pay plan ordinance and a benefits and leaves ordinance, which implement these changes. You have those ordinances at your desks, and we will be requesting that you suspend the rules on the ordinances and take them up for action tonight so that we can get the back pay, the wages, the vacation changed as soon as possible. And I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? I don't see any, so thank you. So by motion made by Councilmember Anderson, seconded by Councilmember Serrano, this item is moved. Any discussion? Councilmember Schoen?
Thank you, Council President Berge. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge all of the work that went into this, this new contract that we're considering tonight. I think it was an extremely long process, our bargaining process for this contract, and so I just really appreciate that both parties and all the staff and the union representation that sat through long negotiations, and we were able to come to this agreement for consideration tonight. So thank you to everybody that contributed towards this.
Thanks. Councilmember Serrano?
Thank you, Council President Berge. also echoing Councilmember Schoen's remarks, but also I want to just say a personal thanks to the work of these folks that are driving our transit vehicles and maintaining them. They work long hours, early morning, late at night, inclement weather, very much like our public safety folks. And just want to express some appreciation for their dedication and their dedication to their careers in the community in the city of Eau Claire.
Great, thank you. Okay, was there any other comments or discussions? Will City Clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Otto.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Schoen.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Berge.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Kimboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Okay, and we have housing affordability. It's a resolution accepting the Housing Our Neighbors Collaborative Community Strategy Plan. So City Manager Hirsch.
Thank you. I don't have any additional information other than what was discussed yesterday.
Okay. Any questions about this? Okay. Then by a motion made by Councilmember Brewster, seconded by Councilmember Mboga, this item is moved. Any discussion? Councilmember Schoen?
Thank you, Council President Berge. I just, again, want to offer my appreciation to everyone that's been a part of making this plan. I'm really excited that our community is finding the capacity to collaborate during such stressful and times of resource scarcity in terms of funding, staffing, et cetera. And I think this is a really exciting opportunity for us all collectively, different units of government, different community partners, et cetera, to have a shared vision and find ways that we can all work together where it makes sense and when it makes sense. And really excited for just different ways our own organization can contribute. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Councilmember Serrano?
Thank you, Council President Berge. I just want to really just ditto and echo to everything that Councilmember Schoen just said. She said it perfectly well, so thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. Oh, and Vice President Worthman?
Thank you, Council President. I think what I heard last night is a new sense of hope about what is possible as we look at a new chapter, really, that I think both recognizes that homelessness in our community is far worse than it's been over the last number of decades, but also that the collaborative spirit that we know Eau Claire to be, and the reason we are proud to call it home, is represented in this document as a pathway to address really what I think is one of the most pressing problems that we have in our community. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure what this looks like in terms of success, but I think if we can make any progress on helping to house people who currently do not have a roof over their head, that is important, and that matters. And we're going to be going into tough budget times. I think we all recognize that. And we're going to have to make really tough decisions about how important is it that our city joins this group of partners that are putting this plan together and that want to move together. How much are we going to contribute? What are we thinking is important in our community? That's the kind of decision we're going to have to be making, because we don't have money, but at the same time, we still have to make choices. So to me, this plan is important because it helps guide our thinking, both from fiscal and otherwise, about how the city of Eau Claire can be a key and critical partner to making sure we do better on homelessness in our community. So I'm proud to support this. And thank you to everyone who's put work into this.
Thank you. Councilmember Mboga?
Thank you, Council President. Last Friday, I had a meeting with all the black elected officials in the United States through Zoom. Then I want to pass some information to Kati. Maybe you know, there is this website or a website they say called NACA, which help for the people at homeless to go to it. Maybe I will give it to you or send it to you. So that's what I want to do, which is related to homeless people. So I want you to, before you go, please. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Boga? Councilmember Miller?
Thank you, Council President. One thing that stood out to me from the report that we're now voting to accept here momentarily was that the Eau Claire City County Health Department did a community-wide health assessment, and top 5 things on the list, top 4 everyone would probably recognize as health issues: alcohol misuse, poor mental health care, lack of access to child care, substance misuse, and then number 5 was lack of safe or affordable housing. That was the number 5 health concern for our community in the county. And one doesn't think of lack of affordable housing or safe housing as a health problem because you think it's an economic thing or some other bucket that it falls into. But if you don't have a safe or affordable place to live, that gives you no base on which to build a healthy life on top of that. So I think this report, along with the city, county, nonprofits, charitable organizations, is really finally putting the spotlight on the fact that this is a health crisis issue and that it's getting the attention it deserves.
Great. I don't see any other comments, so thank you. So by motion made by Councilmember Schoen, second by Councilmember Reed, this item is, oh, we already moved it, sorry. Sorry, guys. So, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Reed.
Aye.
Schoen.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Berge.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Otto.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Lots of voices up here tonight. That's coming over here. Okay, next up, Code of Conduct for Boards, Commissions, and Committees. The resolution adopting a revised Code of Conduct for Boards, Commissions, and Committees. City Manager Hirsch.
Thank you. So this has been worked on with the Advisory Committee of Appointments. We looked at the prior existing Code of Conduct and made some revisions to it. And it spells out just a little bit more details about attendance and decorum and the recourse if the Code of Conduct is not followed. And our intention is, once you all approve this, then we will distribute it to all of the members of boards, commissions, and committees and staff who work with the commissions, as well as all of you, to review and sign. And then after that occurs, we will be rolling out a training to everybody and ask that they review the training and sign off on the training. So this is just part of a longer-term process that we've had to basically update our protocols for boards, commissions, and committees so that they're consistent and try to get everybody on the same page.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. Any questions? Vice President Worthman?
Thank you, Council President. City Manager, or whoever could answer this question, is we already have a code of conduct for boards, committees, commissions, but what this does is updates the attendance expectations. And I'm looking at this policy here and trying to fully understand what the specific updates are.
Well, so historically, we have mailed out a code of conduct as part of a packet to new boards, commissions, and committee members, but we didn't require anybody to acknowledge that they had received the code of conduct. And this provides just a little bit more detail. There have been situations where people raise concerns, and this suggests a way to resolve the concerns.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, we've had this code of conduct, but we haven't had people sign it.
Right.
But there's also changes in the code of conduct?
It's basically provides more detail about open meeting laws, and also has a category of related to decorum and a complaint process for addressing violations if they're raised by participants in the boards, commissions, and committees.
Okay, thank you. So there's a number of updates in here.
Any other questions? I guess I have a question. I apologize for not asking it earlier, but I did receive feedback that people want specifically that no walking quorums be clear in this, and I'm not. I mean, there's under standards, I mean, it says open meeting laws.
I would say that that's following basically all of the laws, and then it's on us to provide the training that spells out those laws. But I don't know that we would want to just call it one particular piece of it. But this does
encompass.
This does cover that as well.
So, okay.
But I understand that we can definitely emphasize that as part of the training.
The training, okay. All right, thank you. Okay. Any other questions? All right, so I will move this one. So by a motion made by Councilmember Schoen, second by Councilmember Reed, this item is moved. Any discussion? Vice President Worthman?
Sir, I apologize. I should have asked this question before, but it's two points. Did this actually go to the boards, committees, and commissions for feedback? Or maybe that's not important because ultimately we set this, but I was wondering if they've had a chance, people that serve and are now going to be impacted by this, if they've had a chance to review this ahead of time. And the second thing is, I guess, are we expecting everyone who's already in service to sign it? And then if they don't, what does that look like? Sorry if you already covered those questions, the answers to those questions, but thanks for.
I would just encourage any of the advisory committee of appointment members to comment as well.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I think we've been talking about this for a long time, and I think I would like to pass it tonight because there are certain BCCs that are waiting for this to get passed. So I think, and I think if there's tweaks, if we get a lot of feedback about one particular thing, we can always amend it. So I am encouraging, I guess I'll be voting for it tonight. I think we should vote for it tonight based on feedback that people do want this. With people, my understanding is that everyone will sign it, like City Manager Hirsch and whoever's serving it now. And if they don't sign it, that was a question too. And then I think we go to the bottom. And I guess if there is a complaint, so Section E, complaint process and addressing violations, I think. So if you don't sign it, Vice President Worthman, and I feel like a violation has occurred, then I would talk to the committee chair, which is also me, and then it will work its way through that process is what I would think. Does that make sense?
Okay. Just so I'm clear that not signing it potentially is a violation. Could have someone removed from a committee or commission.
I mean, they would go through the process,
Sure.
but yeah.
But potentially, yeah. Okay.
Do you want to think on that?
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other, yep, Councilmember Miller?
Thank you, Council President. I'm glad that the Advisory Committee on Appointments has brought this forward here. I got my start on the Waterways Parks Commission for 6 years before I came on the City Council, and there's 150 volunteers that give their time freely to the city, and they provide a great wealth of knowledge and feedback and insights to the policies that shape our city. The only main drawback is they are volunteers, and not all of them have meeting experience or experience with an organization. So I reading through this document, I think it clearly states how these bodies function and what is expected of them, and and I know for some meetings that will help facilitate, make it more efficient, try to get the most out of people's time while they're there. Sometimes meetings can go long, they kind of get off topic, but with this guideline on how to conduct meetings more efficiently, I think we're going to get the most output from our volunteers for the time they put in. So I appreciate the work for this document.
Thank you. Councilmember Anderson?
Yes, thank you. I'm also on the Advisory Committee of Appointments and just wanted to add to what Councilmember Miller was saying about this being part of a broader pathway toward increased education of people on BCCs. And we're working with the League of Wisconsin Municipalities to have some standardized sort of board training just so that people can really use their power and their influence more effectively. And I also am a little grateful for this opportunity to support this tonight, because I think as we look around in our world, I think most of us really want to see more pathways for fair accountability that are clearly outlined, and it's clear how you can participate in a process of making sure that everyone is following a code of conduct or following the rules. And this is just a small way that we can advance that, where we do have some influence.
Vice President Worthman.
I'm sorry to keep coming back to this, but I don't think I see anything in here about signing this document. Am I missing it, or could someone point it out to me where it talks about that?
So, yeah, City Manager Hirsch. Maybe we just need to add a signature line.
The question of what happens if somebody doesn't want to sign, who's already on a board commission committee, that came to my mind as well. It's really at the discretion of you all and the advisory committee of appointments. But as I understand it, we will send it out and say the council has recently adopted this updated code of conduct. As part of our training process, we ask that you review it and sign it. I don't know exactly what happens if people don't want to sign it, or maybe if it's close to the end of their term, they finish up.
Was your question, though, about there's no place to sign it? Was that your question?
No, sorry.
It was,
My
okay.
question was like, it doesn't talk about whether you need to sign this or not in the code of conduct, and it doesn't say what happens if you don't sign it. So I just wanted to, unless someone can tell me that exists, I don't see that. I wanted to just make sure to highlight that for the council. So it's a little bit of a gray area. What exactly will happen for committee or commissioners that don't sign this document? That's my read of it, and someone can disagree, but I don't see that in here.
Is there any other concerns on that issue? Let's see. I think so. Oh yeah, Councilmember Anderson.
I was just going to ask if the city attorney might shed some light.
The code itself is a set of standards. How you implement it is typically done with an acknowledgement, but the standards are going to apply. You could put in your reso a specific statement in your resolution that a signature is expected or required, but otherwise that is simply how, I've heard it. I haven't come to your appointments committee meetings, but that is the expectation. So and that's what the city manager's indicated. So that's how we intend to roll it out. If you intend anything different, again, you can either specify it explicitly in the resolution or just understand that's how it would be rolled out. But the most important thing is that it's establishing a clear set of standards for appointed members and boards, committees and commissions, just as we've had for quite a long time for our elected officials as well. And this is one made more specific to our appointed members, recognizing that we're all public officials and we're in this together to further the interests of our city. And then in terms of how appointed members are either put on a committee or commission or board or removed, that is ultimately they serve at the pleasure of city council. So you have appointment authority, and should it become necessary, you have removal authority. There would be a lot of steps before that, and Council President Berge well set them out, but ultimately those decisions always will rest with city council.
Thank you.
Thank you. Could I be recognized?
Yes.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, City Attorney Nick. So my understanding on this is essentially whether you sign it or not isn't what matters. It's whether you follow it or not, because that could potentially get you removed from your committee, commission, or board. So that makes more sense in my mind. The signature is essentially an acknowledgement. We have a process, but no one's going to get kicked off automatically because they didn't sign this acknowledgement, and I don't think I would be comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think too, I've heard from the boards, the BCCs, that people are looking for more training, and I think this will allow that to happen, make it more formal too. So it's just, we're all just kind of getting things, the process set, and And it may not work. We might need to tweak it along the way, but we just need to start with formalizing it and get everyone on the same page. It might be a little messy in the beginning, but the goal is to increase training and so everyone knows what the rules are, so we can work respectfully and efficiently. So, okay. Any other comments before we vote? All right. Okay. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Schoen.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman. Anderson.
Aye.
Berge.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Otto.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Okay, we have two ordinances for introduction: an employee benefits and leaves plan, ordinance amending the City of Eau Claire employee benefits and leaves plan, specifically those parts thereof pertaining to Amalgamated Transit Union Local 1310 employees. I think I was better that time. I'm doing better, yes. And then we have the City of Eau Claire pay plan, ordinance amending S2.72010 entitled City of Eau Claire pay plan adopted, specifically those parts thereof pertaining to Amalgamated Transit Union Local 1310. And so HR Director Riepel spoke on this earlier. Yes, Councilmember Miller.
I move to suspend the rules and take up items 26 and 27 now.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules to take up items 26 and 27, so we can vote on them tonight per the suggestion of city staff. Any discussion on that? Okay, so we have to vote to suspend the rules and then vote on the things, right? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to vote to suspend the rules. So City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Berge.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Otto.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Schoen.
Aye.
Okay, the rules have been suspended. Now we will take up both these items. Was that dramatic? Yes, I tried to be dramatic.
You
Now
should
we'll
just
take
all get up and run around like crazy. Yeah, like, there's no rules.
There's no rules, and I am a rule follower. Okay, so now we're voting on these two. Any discussion? We'll have to move it. So motion made by, we'll just do Councilmember Otto, second by Councilmember Anderson. Any discussion on these two items? I suppose, yeah, we probably have to do it one at a time. Yeah, so we're going to take up 26, so Otto and Anderson for 26. Any discussion on that? Okay, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Worthman.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Berge.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Otto.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Schoen.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Now we'll take up item number 27, the City of Eau Claire pay plan. By a motion by Councilmember Serrano, second by Councilmember Brewster. This is moved. Any discussion on this item? Okay. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Anderson.
Aye.
Berge.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Otto.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Schoen.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman.
And that passes unanimously. All right, on to announcements and updates. City Manager Hirsch.
Not really, just want to say thank you to Council President Berge and Councilmember Serrano, Brewster, and Imboga, who are all going to go on the Chippewa Valley Rally next.
Oh, wait. I am not.
Oh. What?
No, I was just saying that's awesome.
Yeah. It's a very long day, so we appreciate you.
You're welcome. Any other announcements, Councilmember Boga?
Yeah, I'm not bragging, but.
But you
so
are.
If you guys look here, this is me, the University of Wisconsin Labor Force. They have invited me to speak on this Black Month history on Thursday, 3 o'clock. Then on the 26th, which is a Saturday, I'm also being invited to the capital of Wisconsin to be the banner of all high school students. So I'll be one of the panelists, a panel.
Yeah, panelists.
Panelists,
Yeah, that's
Thank you,
wonderful.
thank you. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Any other announcements? Okay. All right, we do have one work session, correct? But we will adjourn this meeting right now. And then there are snacks.
Well, it's the Gabriel. It's a circle.
Hey, good job.
Yeah, so I will maybe email you this one. So this one is more like the people homeless, so no payment. So I have these images because of what they say send or has equal. So that's what I want. I have no doubt. Although you can take the other So they take so if you have So the way you say it, because when I open never knew wide open. Every single Wednesday. Yes. So without even I don't know sometimes what it is to get a house. I appreciate it. Only because sometimes what can I do to appreciate? But one of these friends, I was surprised. I'm really curious. I was surprised.
Yeah, it was cold. I didn't have a
I already shared it with Rita. I meant my password to my house, which might have been. Oh, it's not working. Oh. I just had a hot mic moment, so I'm thankful, actually. This is. Oh. Shoot. Am I waving? Okay, we're a little spiked. Okay, we'll start. Order in the room. Kendall wants to talk. All right.
Good
room
evening.
is
Thank you,
yours.
President Berge, council members. The next item is an informational presentation by Downtown Eau Claire Incorporated, or DECI, regarding the Wisconsin Main Street program. As this is my first time in front of you, to briefly introduce myself, I'm Kendall Williams with the city's Economic Development Division. I am serving as the staff sponsor for this item in tonight's work session. I will also be a primary staff point of contact working alongside DECI on business startup and retention efforts, as well as initiatives that support the long-term economic vitality of the downtown area. After significant public and private investment over the past few decades, downtown continues to play a critical role in our local economy, not just as a business district, but as a place where people from across the region live, work, and gather. From an economic development perspective, that's why our division continues to coordinate with organizations like DECI to stay connected to the needs of Eau Claire's business community as the city plans for continued reinvestment. For additional context on tonight's presentation, DECI is currently in the process of applying to become a designated Wisconsin Main Street community through the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, or WEDC. This item is for informational purposes only, and no council action is being requested at this time. It's intended to provide City Council with background on the Main Street framework, the types of programming and grant opportunities available through WEDC, and the areas where coordination with the City of Eau Claire may be requested if DECI moves forward in the application process. I'll now turn it over to DECI and WEDC to begin the presentation.
Great. Thanks, Kendall. Hi, welcome.
Hello, City Council. I'm Kate Felton. I'm the Civic and Strategic Communications Coordinator for DECI. Erin sends her regards. She was hoping to be here, but had family obligations tonight, so I'm filling in. I wanted to give a very brief update on DECI, and then I'm going to pass it over to Erin from the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. Over the last year, DECI has we've called it year zero as we've moved into our own as an independent nonprofit, and we have a lot of great things to show for it. I brought you an annual report, fresh off the press today. DECI has actually not had an annual report since before COVID, and so we're really excited that we have one. I'm going to pass it out here, and there's enough for staff too. So we are kind of, as we move into year one, that we're calling it this year, one of our big priorities is really just telling the story of downtown, telling the story of what we do, who is here, who are the employees and the business owners that make business happen here, who are the people who live here, the people who come here and love it here. We're telling those stories through the people, and we're also trying to tell the story through our data as well. So there's some interesting data that you might find in the annual report. So excited to have you look through that. We are hearing anecdotally on the ground in downtown Eau Claire that we really are in need of a strategic shift in how we approach downtown. We are hearing, so though you'll see in the annual report that our downtown visits are as high as ever. Almost 8 million people visited downtown in 2025, and certainly well recovered since COVID. Despite that, we're hearing from businesses over and over again, anecdotally, that they're really struggling to survive. So what we are doing heading into 2026 is to really try to, one, collect more data to get a more full picture of what's really happening in the downtown ecosystem, and two, really think through what is our new strategy and mission as Ducky now that we are moving into this new era as an individual organization, through strategy planning and really working more closely with our partners to think about what our role is in potentially a whole new direction that is more focused on retention and kind of protecting the investment that we've made into downtown, and certainly still focused on revitalization and development, but maybe less so than we were 15 years ago. So a really large part of that forward thinking is our application to the Main Street program. Main Street offers DECI lots of resources to accomplish these things that I'm talking about, but it also offers lots of resources to the community, the general community, so and to the city organization. So I'm excited. With that, I'm going to pass it over to Erin as somebody who's really going to help us in those goals. Thank you.
Thanks, Kate.
Thank you. Good to see you all. I'm going to share with you a little bit about what we do. So my job is my name is Erin Welty. All I do is work with downtowns across the state. So I tell people my job is to work with only communities with cute downtowns with passionate groups of people that support them. So we've been thrilled to be working with DECI for in the Connect Communities program for the last number of years, 9 years, and then also on this cohort process where we've gotten to really know a lot of the stakeholders here in the community. Does this drive? How do I? There we go. So as I mentioned, we are housed within WEDC. So one of the pillars and missions of WEDC is an economy for all and an opportunity for every Wisconsinite to thrive. Obviously, downtowns are the heart of our community, so small businesses, property owners are a big part of what makes our communities growing and thriving. So it's been a great fit since we have moved the program from Commerce here back in 2013. I'll start with the why invest in downtown. Hopefully many of you will already know this information, but in case you need to convince someone else that they should invest in their downtowns, downtowns are the economic heart of a lot of our communities. Despite being a really small amount of the land area, they are a very big part of the property value, and that's even taking into consideration things like libraries and city halls, which are often in downtowns and don't pay property taxes, but they're an increasingly larger part of every one of the other common economic indicators that we look at. So restaurants, hotel rooms, businesses, they may be small, but they are mighty, and they make up a big contingent of that economic activity. And increasingly residential units, because every community that we work in has a shortage of residential units, and downtowns are a great place to put them, which I will talk about. Downtowns are a unique sense of place and shared history. There's nowhere else that everyone can see their history and the founding of their community and learn about what makes their community unique. Every downtown has its own charm and unique heritage. It's also a place where we can retain and grow value. We talk a lot in every community about vacant properties. Everyone has at least one problem property that maybe is chronically vacant. And we hear a lot, well, that's their prerogative. They pay their property taxes, and if they want to sit vacant, they can, which is very true. That is their prerogative, but it does have an impact on all of us. When we have chronically vacant properties sitting there, it's at least an average of $133,000 a year in lost economic activity that's not happening. And that impacts, obviously, other businesses who don't have foot traffic. And just kind of the overall appeal of our downtown, and also impacts the property value. Occupied properties are about twice as valued in terms of assessment as chronically vacant properties, even if they have not been renovated. Downtowns are also an opportunity for shared experience. I like to say that nobody takes wedding pictures or makes memories in a strip center. These are places where people come together and are gathering, and it's where people have kind of cherished sense of community. I mentioned residents as an important consideration. We have a lot of need for residential development, and people see that density in downtowns is natural. Apartment buildings in neighborhoods are sometimes controversial. Apartment buildings in downtowns, much less so. Additionally, those residents in proximity to our small businesses spend a really large amount of money at those small businesses. We know that people who live within walking distance of a business tend to visit there twice as often. So if you think of yourself working above a coffee shop, you're going to drink a lot more coffee than if you have to get in your car and drive to Starbucks. So we want to put people next to our small businesses so that we can really cultivate and grow that population. And lastly, downtowns are a sign of a community that reinvents itself and invests in itself. If you are looking to relocate your major corporation or to make a big investment in a community, you're going to drive through downtown and you're going to say, is this a community that invests in itself and looks like it has a future, or is this a community that is dying? Because if I'm a major employer, I want my employees to feel like they are going to be at home in a community, and a downtown is really a big part of the curb appeal, as it were, of your community. We did look at the economic market share of downtown specifically in Eau Claire. So compared to the other data I showed at the beginning, that was statewide numbers for all the downtowns that we work in. For Eau Claire, downtown is about 1.3% of the market, and that's all 4 of the bids together. But 4% of the assessed value, only 3.5% of housing units, so you have some opportunity to grow there, but obviously still overachieving for the size of land. And a huge significant share of businesses, employees, retailers, restaurants, hospitality. And then we also have access to geofencing data, so looking at people carry around their phones so we can track where they are going. So we know that almost 50% of people who come into the city from farther away make their way to downtown during their stay. So it's a big part of the tourist experience in downtown. If we did want to say downtown should be a 10% market share of everything, that would require the addition of 2,000 additional residential units and about $425 million in assessed value. If you just want a basis for comparison of if downtown were truly a 24/7 live, work, play balanced economy, that was what you would need to add to get there. A little bit about the Main Street program. So Wisconsin Main Street is the designated program for the state of Wisconsin. We are affiliated with Main Street America. I think all but 5 states at this point have a Main Street program, so we work to push resources nationally to our communities here in Wisconsin. We currently have 37 Main Street communities. 3 of them have been with us since the beginning, since 1988, but we have 150 communities in our broader network of Main Streets and Connect communities. Again, Eau Claire is part of our Connect Communities program right now, which is an affiliate program. The Main Street program is based on the 4-point approach that looks at downtowns as a holistic experience. You can't have just thriving businesses if you don't have an appealing downtown. People are not going to stay long. They might drive in, visit one shop, and they're going to head right back out. By the same token, if you have a really gorgeous downtown with great street trees and parks, but you don't have any businesses, people are also not going to stay very long. And you need an organization to do some of the work, because if it's nobody's job, it's not going to get done. So our communities really work across all 4 points together, and that's a lot of our training is based on that. Main Street also says that it's not a quick fix program. I mentioned 3 of the communities have been with us since '88. Downtown is never done. Things are changing. Things are reinventing themselves. So we really work on figuring out what's next, how to adapt, what do businesses need, how can we adapt our historic buildings, et cetera. It's also public-private partnership driven and volunteer driven. Communities and downtowns belong to everyone, and we need everyone to be part of it if it's going to be successful. Why should Eau Claire join? We are a great network of people who have passions for downtowns. A big part of our team, so there are 5 of us on staff that do nothing but mostly downtown development, and a big part of our job is keeping people from reinventing the wheel. There's almost nothing that you all might decide to do in Eau Claire that someone else hasn't done. So a big part of what we do is provide those toolkits, provide those resources, those templates, case studies, maybe cautionary tales of how other communities have managed to do whatever it is that you all decide that you want to do. We have a lot of resources. These that are on this page right now are available to you already as a Connect Communities member. So if there's anything you want to take advantage of or you're interested in, please reach out. You are welcome to participate, but there's a lot of case studies, chat groups, webinars, workshops, and then just network training and sharing among the group. For the Main Street side, we do have, again, talented staff that do design renderings, that do market analysis, that do social media strategy, that we can bring to bear for our Main Street communities, again, assuming that they have greater capacity to use and implement some of these services. We also, for our Main Street communities, pay for consultants regularly to help address maybe issues that our team does not have specific expertise in. So we have hired landscape architects, parking consultants, branding experts, merchandisers, social media experts to provide dedicated assistance either to a community or to the businesses within a community. So we fairly often will send a consultant to meet with 6 or 7 businesses that need succession planning help or valuation assistance or merchandising assistance if that's what the community is particularly struggling with at any point. We also do a lot of training that's relevant to partners. So we just actually paid for a sign ordinance because we had heard from a lot of businesses that sign ordinances in Wisconsin were created in 1988 and then cobbled together without maybe any rhyme or reason. And then working with the League of Municipalities, they told us they thought 2/3 of Wisconsin sign codes were illegal based on some of the new Supreme Court stuff. And we said, that's great. We're going to write one and then we're just going to give it to everyone, which is what we did. So that's something that's available. And then we have some funding opportunity for businesses through our Kiva loan match as well, because we want to provide some funding opportunities for our businesses. Some of the training I mentioned, we do a really big mix of in-person and virtual stuff. We think there's value in getting people out to visit other communities and see what they are doing, but also we recognize that we serve the whole state, and so we offer a lot of virtual programming additionally. In terms of what the impact of communities that have joined our program, we have an average of $15,000 in services per year across the network. That's a lot more in the first few years because we hope that communities have a lot of goals that they want to achieve that we can really help them with early on, and then sometimes, communities are in maintenance mode for a period of time. We assist an average of 5 businesses directly, so with either consultant time or architectural assistance, marketing assistance, and get about 6 businesses per community. These are per community numbers to attend trainings of some kind. We do have a reduced match for our CDI grants for communities that are part of our Main Street program for projects in the district. And we do also have a better percentage of grant recipients. There's also grants directly through the Main Street America program that communities become eligible for if they are participants. We just got an Unlocking Capital grant for 3 of our communities and a Science on Main Street grant for another one to pursue some projects in their districts. We often get asked what should we do next? You're the experts. But we're not here to tell you what to do. We're here for you to tell us where you want your downtown to go, and then we will help provide connections and resources to get you there. So that part's on you, but I can tell you that communities that involve more people are more successful. 35 years of data shows that communities that have more volunteer hours dedicated to downtown initiatives have more small businesses, have more startups, have more private investment, because there's just more people who care and are involved and are engaged. So more people generates everything else. You have to support your existing businesses and landlords because you're stuck with them, and I am not going to move. No one's going to move their business if I go to Aaron and I say, "How is doing business in Eau Claire?" He's like, "Man, I wish I'd never moved here." Like, that's not going to work. But if our businesses that are successful are telling that story of how supported they feel, then we are going to be successful in recruiting new businesses and creating that culture of entrepreneurship. And otherwise, it's focusing on the positives. Every community has a community of trolls that are out there that want to talk about nothing but negative facts, and we need to have that network of volunteers and sunshine blowers to really spread the good word of all the stuff that has happened, because you've done a lot in Eau Claire, and it's easy to forget that you've come a long way, and obviously still have ways to go, but feeling that you can do it and are empowered to do that is very important. So that's who I am and what we do. Again, Eau Claire is about halfway through the cohort process of becoming part of the Main Street program, so that will continue through the end of June, at which point they will have the opportunity to write a letter of intent to join, assuming they successfully complete the rest of the 6-month cohort process, which involves meetings and homework and participation in some of the networking things at that point. So happy to talk about downtowns, about your downtown in particular, or answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Any questions for Aaron? Well, and we do first names for work session, so Nate.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you, Emily.
Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation. Well, thank you for that presentation. So knowing what you know about downtown Eau Claire compared to our peer cities like, say, La Crosse or maybe Wausau, what stands out about Eau Claire, either need-wise or what we do better? Does anything stand out?
I mean, everybody's has their own unique cast of characters, certainly, and a number of our communities do have universities, which gives them a certain, distinction. Your university is much closer connected to your downtown than some. So Stevens Point is another Main Street, and we know that less than 20% of the people coming to their campus make it to downtown. Your number is significantly higher than that, so that partnership is huge. Your population of visitors and just general foot traffic downtown tends to be younger. La Crosse is also younger. On Broadway District in Green Bay is also younger, but most of the rest of Wisconsin is aging, and that is reflected in their foot traffic numbers. So you have a younger population, a higher percentage of visitors that are making it downtown than other big cities, and a tighter connection to your college, which are all great opportunities for sure.
Thanks. Josh?
Thank you, Emily. Aaron, so as was stated during the introduction, I think Kate said this, and then that downtown businesses, and downtown's a place to be in Eau Claire, but also businesses feel like they're struggling, and I think we were aware of our neighbors in North Chippewa Falls had a number of downtown business closed recently. I'm thinking maybe just the size of Eau Claire is still buffering businesses somewhat more here than there, but I don't think it's going to be an issue unique to the Chippewa Valley. It's probably something felt across Wisconsin. I just want to know your thoughts, being with WEDC and visiting downtown across the state, what you're seeing, why you think it's happening, and what can be done about it. And big questions, but it's kind of
Yes, not an economist, but yes, you're not alone. There are a number of communities that are experiencing significant concerns among small businesses. Foot traffic remains high, but sales are low. People are still out, but they're concerned and, either not having money or concerned about spending money. It's not a few communities, like De Pere is not experiencing that. Really high net worth population of visitor communities seem to be currently doing better, but it is a concern across many of our communities. Certainly, we are working, to provide a lot of training to businesses to boost e-commerce. So can we find other customers, or can we, share the customers that are coming down, because it's a lot easier for Ethan's business to share businesses, with Stephanie's business than it is for him to recruit his entire other set of business customers downtown. So how can we take advantage of the fact that downtown is a hub of small business? But it is definitely challenging out there right now, for sure.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Larry?
Yeah, me, I want to comment, just a comment. what can we do as Eau Claire? We beat every municipalities, all the cities, to be number one everything. What can we do?
That's a tall order. There's a lot of community. So I get this from our leadership all the time. They're like, what are communities doing that's really great? And I was like, well, everybody's doing something really great. Like, none of them are doing all of the things really great. So which really great do you want to be? That's, you got to start somewhere. Pick a thing to be great at first. You have great rivers and great walking paths. That's great. You have great connections to your colleges. That's great. Build on those sort of things. But there are certainly, communities that have a, I know Eau Claire at one point had a vision. You did a lot of things. I don't know where your next thing is, but I think that's critically important to figure out what's the next thing. Like, what are the things that you want to build on to make downtown even better in the future? Because one thing that we know is that you can't stay still. People are always, other communities are doing more things and being more things, and certainly you have to, move forward, or everyone else, or you're relatively going backwards. So, what is it that you want to achieve, and then we're happy to help you get there. But you need to tell me where you want to go first.
Mm-hmm. Stephanie?
Can you share how downtown Main Streets have worked with the tourism entities in other communities?
Sure. Not all of our communities are big enough to have designated marketing organizations, but certainly some of them really do and work closely together. Lake Geneva is one of our newer main streets. Obviously, they have a lot of tourism going on, and so they're doing a lot to partner to mitigate impacts of tourism on the rest of the community and kind of market separately to those different groups. La Crosse, obviously, when they invested in their convention center, has done a lot of specific events tied to some of those tourists. I think, what is their newest event? Oh, it's the something AF festival, like Cool AF festival. Very fun and very on brand for outdoor, like extreme outdoor sports. So they're really leveraging their brand for that. So there's some really cool kind of marketing tie-ins that take advantage of the downtown kind of vibrancy to make them happen.
I was wondering about festivals. Is that a real draw to people downtown? Would you see increased sales in our small businesses, or?
That depends on who you are and what kind of festival it is. By and large, when we talk about events and marketing in downtowns, we talk about special events, which are designed to bring everybody together to celebrate, right? So whether that's your 4th of July, where you're focused on your friends, family, and alumni and bringing your community together, or whether it's like, a big music festival that's bringing people in, that's really to get people who have never been here before to see what you have to offer and say, there's more here than I thought, and get them to come back as a visitor, come back as a resident. Most of what our communities do day in and day out are things like the farmers market and, weekly music festivals that are bringing the community together, and then they might actually shop and go to dinner afterwards and things like that. So how do we make those events that are bringing people down on a regular basis and making downtown part of your weekly habit, so that you're, reminded of the favorite restaurants that you have and your boutiques that you like to shop at. So special events have a place, but they are not the end-all be-all. And not every business will do well at all during those events because, your regulars are not coming down when it's a zoo. But you need those people, other people to experience the community, to have that first-time experience as well.
Andrew?
Thanks, Emily. You mentioned a plan, and I'm glad that you did mention a plan, because it's now coming to my mind that was a very important component about 25 years ago that helped our downtown. It was one of the pieces of kind of putting everyone on the same page about what we wanted to see our downtown be. Back in 2006-07, we had more than 60% vacancy in our downtown. Now we're single digits vacancy. Mm-hmm. And so I wonder, does Main Street help with planning, doing like planning event or planning exercises for downtowns to be sort of looking at what is the next 10 years, 20 years going to look like? Is that something that your organization supports?
So yes-ish. I mean, so we do, we assist our organizations with strategic planning for the organization itself, and we will bring in consultants to do like small sections of plans, but if you're talking like that plan, that's a, $60,000 plan. We don't have that kind of resources. We do sometimes like help out with pieces of that, but we can't, float the whole thing for all of 37 of our communities.
But you at least have guidance on like what to look for, how to
Sure,
do it.
we have examples of what other RFPs have looked like or other plans for sure.
That's cool. Thank you.
Do you have any thoughts on parking?
I have lots of thoughts on parking. We had a whole conversation on parking, but we're not going. I'm not going to be able to cover. Every community has had every community I've ever been in has wanted to talk about has something to say about parking, real or not. But yes.
Oh, Clara.
Hi, so this may seem like a real offshoot topic, but passenger rail and downtown vitality. What do you guys, what does any data say about that?
I have not seen data recently. I did spend 10 years of my career working in Denver when they were building out the light rail system, and I was working in real estate. So I do know something about how that rail system worked. And it did a lot for bringing people. So what we actually found is that people who lived at the rail stations in the suburbs didn't work downtown, but they wanted to go downtown to hang out because they didn't want to drive after they were, drinking, which less people do now. But so having the light rail increased the amount of people non-working day that came downtown for games, for sporting events, for just hanging out because you didn't have to park.
I'm just also wondering kind of the tourism possibilities when you have passenger rail.
Yeah,
like,
at
say,
that point
from
it
the
didn't
Twin
go to the
Cities.
airport, and so there
Right.
wasn't any other way to get to tourists
Right.
in Denver. But I'm sure,
But I'm just wondering, like passenger rail from the Twin Cities to Eau Claire.
Potentially,
What
sure.
are the,
I mean-
I would think that would have very, very large economic opportunity for our downtown businesses.
I think probably the impact is much larger on the business side, but I'm sure that there are a number of people who would avail themselves of that option as well.
Thank you.
I don't see any other questions, so thanks, Erin.
Yes. Thanks for having me. We look forward to getting to know Eau Claire better over the next 6 months. And if you come up with any burning questions about downtowns in the interim, please reach out to our team. We're happy to help.
Great, thank you. Anything else, Kate, or no? Okay. All right. Yeah, Kendall, do you have? Okay.
Did you color coordinate your shirts?
Yeah. Oh, and your pants. Very nice. Oh my gosh.
What's going on here?
The date's on our board, so we got
What's going on here, you guys?
That's crazy.
First doing that. Also on our board.
Good. Kendall, did you want to say anything? Close us out, or?
No other comments from us unless you have any questions for staff and how we will be collaborating with Downtown Eau Claire. Otherwise, you're free to go.
How long are you going to collaborate with them?
So we are beginning discussions on internally, the Economic Development Division is piloting a more formal business retention and expansion program where we do business visits just to collect data and build relationships with our business community. I will be the designated downtown liaison for that program. So I met with Kate at Downtown Eau Claire last week so that we can start doing that work together. That way we're not doubling up on the visits with business owners who don't have time to be talking to multiple organizations. So we'll be collecting data. Like she mentioned, we've seen a lot of anecdotal data or stories about what's happening in the business community, specifically our existing businesses. We need to know, is the sector specific that is struggling? Are there very common issues? Do they just not know that there are resources available to them? And that's where we come in, where we can connect them to resources within the business ecosystem. So that work is starting hopefully in the spring, so in the next couple of months.
Great. I think, so the EDC also does visits like that, so are you?
Yes, the goal would be that once staff knows its capacity for the number of visits that we can do every year, it would be me, Erin White, Community Development Director, and then Billy Hufford, splitting the work among the three of us, maybe having Stephanie and Dave be part of that as well. once we know that, we are hoping to coordinate with the county EDC as well as the chamber and Visit Eau Claire.
Right.
So all of the partners will be doing the work together.
That's good. Yeah, rather than duplicating, because they already
Yes,
do those.
we've heard that
so-
from the
yeah.
business community.
Yeah.
that We're all asking the same questions, but not talking to each
Together,
other.
yeah.
So,
That's a problem. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Thanks, Kendall.
of course.
Appreciate your work.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. Do you want to be done, Stephanie?
Look like Stephanie, you had a long day.
What day is it?
It's
Oh,
Tuesday.
yeah. All right, let's be done. Goodbye.
First 10 weeks of February.
If you don't have them, I'm gonna be at the counter tomorrow.